got my air conditioner on. It's so freaking hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just hot because we went to the climbing gym. I'm hot. It's not really that hot out. But...
Yes, you are.
You know it.
Yeah. We had a nice rainstorm come through yesterday and
awesome.
today. So.
Wow. What's
we
that?
had rain is this weird occurrence where water falls out of the sky.
I've heard of it, but I recall seeing it.
Maybe not necessarily in your area.
Yeah.
But other parts of the world.
When we were actually back visiting, it rained on the day of the wedding, right?
Yeah. Of course, because that's what it does.
Yeah. It was supposed to be an outdoor wedding. Didn't work out. Of course.
I wonder if this rain is part of the hurricane tropical storm that came through Florida.
Oh, yeah. I saw Jeff Eccles with his weather reports on Instagram. He's on vacation. I just think he doesn't know what to do with himself. I don't think he's taken a vacation in very many months, very many years even. So he's just like, I'm actually not going to do anything on this trip, and I don't know what that's going to be like. So he's doing weather reports. So yeah, you might be right, because they got a lot of weather down there.
Yeah, they were actually kind of somewhat worried if it stalled, delaying the Stanley Cup final games.
Oh, really?
Because it was down in Tampa, or at least last night's final game of the season was last night, where my Tampa Bay Lightning had won the Stanley Cup. Back to back.
Sports team loyalty just doesn't make any sense to me. Because you're like loyal to this Florida hockey team, okay? Like talk about like irony, right?
I'm loyal to two teams, which most people don't understand that. I'm loyal to my birth team, the Detroit teams, and I'm loyal to my Rays team, which are the Tampa Bay teams. So for the longest period of time, I got to live in double misery because
they all sucked.
Because they all sucked, every single solitary one of them. Hey, it's football season. Yay. It's the Succaneers and the Lions.
The Succaneers.
Yeah. There are other
Wouldn't it be like
rhyme.
the Succaneers and the Cryans or something?
No, I mean, you just say Lions and everybody already knows.
They just get it.
Misery.
Yeah. I get it.
And then you got baseball, where at least once in my life, I've had a team that I rooted for within my lifetime actually win the World Series.
Win something.
Yeah. However, I mean, the Tigers had gone on a stretch where they were going to the World Series on a reasonably frequent level. They weren't winning them. Just a few years back, when they had a really, really good pitching core, but then that dismantled, and then they just plummeted to the bottom.
I only asked because my mom's dad, who I was very fond of, he always had a Detroit Tigers hat on, always, because he came from Michigan. I asked the year because he passed away, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, so he didn't get to witness that, it sounds like.
Well, he did. Well, if it was 6 or 7 years ago, yeah, it's been a while. It's been he saw the kind of resurrection of them, and then he definitely was around in the mid '80s when they were really good, and then won the World Series, the Bless You Boys, and then got the good old. So it's funny. It's so Detroit's got all 4 major sports teams, including basketball. Tampa Bay does not have a basketball team. The closest one we have is the Orlando Magic. Magic.
That was Shaquille O'Neal, where he started, right?
That's where Shaq started, yeah.
I think I told you the story when I met him once. I mean,
yeah.
He's like, "What's up, little man?"
It didn't even matter who walked up to him.
It's probably
I'm
true, but
pretty
it
sure.
felt like someone who grew up and was always the littlest kid, and
Oh
the
man.
small fry, shrimp, like these were my names when I was growing up. I think I
Yeah.
was 5 feet tall when I went into high school.
Oh.
Yeah. So I've always been little man. He just made it very real to me because he wears what, like a size 23 shoe, and
Yeah.
and his hands were like baseball mitts, like just insane size of a person.
So I had a little dude or some guy say that to me. I was looking down as I was walking into the 7-Eleven, not too far from my house.
Mm-hmm.
And because the Tampa Bay area is kind of like where all of the like mid 90s wrestlers lived.
Oh, sweet.
Oh yeah,
Like
yes.
WWF back then, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
what you're talking
So
about?
so I'm looking down and I, bumped into a guy and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I look up and I think it was either 7th or 8th grade
Mm-hmm.
and he's just like, "Sorry, little dude." And it was Hulk Hogan. I'm like,
I was gonna ask if it was the Hulkster,
"Yeah, it was."
Hulkamania. Oh,
Yeah. And
that's
then
awesome.
and then one time kind of like on my break from college, I temporarily took a job in retail, which of course I realized that I sucked because I'm not a very good salesman. Actually, it turns out that I'm a good salesman, but I just didn't like it. And I was not a big fan of selling things or convincing people to buy things. I guess that might be it.
You're an
Um,
architecture dude. You better.
yeah, I know, right? I know. The irony of all of that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had I was selling like ties and things like that. I was facing the cash register and a guy walked up behind me and they're like, "Excuse me." Need you guess who that is?
Like they're always, was it Rowdy Roddy
That was
Piper?
no,
Oh,
that was Macho Man Randy Savage.
oh, macho.
And yes, he
Sweet.
talked
Yeah,
exactly
I was
like
like,
he
you
talked.
don't, you can't be out of character ever,
No,
right?
no, 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 no. It was
That's just
just
who he
like his
was.
his normal voice was that.
That's awesome.
But funny enough, when I was so another time during that period of when I was had my hiatus from college, I was also working at the downtown Hilton Hotel in St. Petersburg, Florida, and that's where like next door was the arena where they would do a lot of the WWF wrestling and stuff, and so I was the night auditor,
Okay.
and so
Awesome title.
yeah.
Awesome job name.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I wish it was more than what it really was, which was just basically crunching all the numbers and receipts and everything else, and just basically closing out all of like the day's take of both like the money coming in, people checking in, and also like all of like the restaurant receipts and everything else. So it was just apparently because when you go to architecture school, you're good with numbers. Eh, who figure? Go
Right.
figure.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Stereotype is so
exactly.
awesome.
So I mean, you got to see all sorts of people. I got to see, like the birth of the Devil Rays at the time. Now they're just called the Rays. But, like the team had started and you got to see like, all of these kids that they were like signing these $1 million bonuses and all this other stuff and they're 18 and they didn't know what to do with themselves. And trust me, I knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Everybody knew what they were doing. It wasn't good. But I'm not going to tell those stories because
I don't
they're all,
condone it.
you know. So you'd also have like all of the wrestlers come in there, and so you'd have like tons of wrestlers there, like all the time. Every time I would get off of work, it would be 7 a.m. I'd go down to the hotel gym, and I'd start to work out. Well, probably about like 7:30, you'd start to have all the wrestlers roll in. I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
Mm.
My skinny spindly ass
Yeah, right.
is not going to be lifting with in the first one in the very first time I was there was Roddy Piper, and it
Yeah.
was just like, dude, that's awesome. Because I mean, one of my wife and I's like favorite like campy pseudo horror slash whatever like cult flick is They Live.
I haven't heard of it.
Oh, you got to
So
look it
good.
up. Yeah, it's so good, so stupid, but interesting premise to a movie, but it's just a dumb movie. But it's just one of those weird things. And he's funny enough, he's the star of the movie.
Whoa.
So it's good
You know
when
it's good.
Roddy Piper is the star of the movie. But and then you just like see all of these people come in, Jake the Snake Roberts, all these other, like just like all of the names from like the late '90s, were just there like working out, and you're just like, nah, man. I mean, you don't have to body shame them. You just say, yeah, these dudes are like, sure, most of them might have been steroidal, but whatever. They were huge dudes,
And
huge.
serious athletes, like
Oh yeah, yeah. And I mean, you can't,
really
you can't,
athletic.
you can't
Yeah.
contend that they weren't
Right.
athletics.
And
People
entertainers,
make
right?
exactly.
Like always in always in character.
Yeah,
Oh man, that's great.
I will.
I loved Randy Savage in the
Oh
original, the
yeah,
first Spider-Man movie.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Bonesaw.
Bonesaw is ready.
Yeah,
Oh, it's so good. It's so
yeah.
funny that when one of my kids had a birthday and we got this like flying shark, like it was a radio controlled flying shark, and they named it Bonesaw. Like, and it was just from the
Perfect.
movie, right? Like totally random, but that's what they named it, Bonesaw.
Yeah.
So good.
That was it. What was funny is like when he was just like, he called Spider-Man a freak. I'm like, really, dude?
Yeah.
Look in the mirror much?
Yeah.
No, it was so interesting because like the whole like North County beaches and stuff were just littered with retired wrestlers.
Oh,
So
really?
like,
It's a great
Clearwater
place.
Beach and Indian Rocks Beach and stuff were just like that's where they all go to, just retire and stuff. And it
Got to be around
I
your
mean,
people, I guess.
yeah, Hulk Hogan kind of like started that. I think that was he kind of set roots there, and just everybody
He was a leader.
flocked to it.
Yeah, he was a leader. He was a
Yeah.
visionary.
Oh, it was so cool though. But running into like literally physically running into Hulk Hogan was like and he was a big dude. Now I mean
Yeah.
I don't know how tall he is anymore, but like now I'm 6'1.5", 6'2" ish. I'm kind of like on the downswing now, but
Yeah.
um,
We're shrinking.
yeah, I didn't feel that like I wasn't. I mean, at the time I was just like skinny, and I mean I was
Yeah.
prob-
They were the opposite
probably
of that.
yeah
And
they were.
I don't mean fat.
Yeah,
I just
polar.
mean, yeah.
No, they were just like the polar opposite of that.
Yeah.
They were big, massive dudes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So crazy.
It is. I mean, I with the way you started this, and I was like, I don't understand like sports team loyalty. I'm that kind of person. It just doesn't make any sense to me, and it makes me think like, okay, let's figure out a way to tie this to architecture. Do people have this kind of loyalty around certain architects? I think some do, right? It's like there's some that just can't go wrong, and you'll always be a fan, and people love their work, but I don't necessarily feel that either. So I'm wondering, like, if this is
what's
a thing.
interesting is I sort of found a little bit of wrath in a certain Facebook group that is, like disciples or lovers of Frank Lloyd Wright.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's like the docents when you go visit one of his projects and they're like speak of the genius and the
no, and it's made in that group is made up of those people. Yeah. Like literally, they are those people.
They're the ones trading the stories, right?
Yes.
To fill out the monologue of being a docent in a Frank Lloyd Wright project.
And funny enough, I'm still a part of the group, but don't interact with them anymore because one time I said something derogatory about like one of the buildings and being uncomfortable and stuff. And literally like everybody just like opened up and just started like trashing me and all this other stuff. And I'm like, whatever.
It is the internet. Yeah.
It totally was. How dare you say anything wrong about Frank Lloyd Wright? Like,
how dare you come into this cesspool of a Facebook group and spew evils about the genius that was FLW?
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have grown to appreciate, and especially, later in my career and stuff, I've literally grown to appreciate him more so than I was back in the day when, like you and I talked about in the last episode, where American architects, when they're going going to school and all this other stuff, and
That's who you're going to be, right?
You're going to be like, oh, you're the next Frank Lloyd Wright.
Yeah.
It's just like, nah, man, no.
Probably
And
not.
you try to distance yourself from him.
And then you're thinking, if only.
Yeah. and then now you're thinking, man, I wish, I mean,
it's like when somebody,
career.
it's like as a musician, you hear some song and you're like, I wish I wrote that one, right? Like that's what you feel as an architect walking into some projects like that, right? Like Falling Water. Yeah. Man, I wish I did this one.
So you'll get the, so we'll get back to this conversation in a second, but so we've got our new little dog and new old dog, however you want to say it. And, Freddie loves to bark when like he hears the mailman, or if, somebody who is not my daughter decides to like walk around, he'll start to bark.
So anybody, he's got a motion detector alarm on him. Yeah.
And so like he'll go bark, bark, and I'll go bjark, bjark, bjark.
Fanboy.
So like every time I bjark him.
Nice. This episode is made possible with support from Twinmotion. This episode of the Archispeak podcast is made possible by Twinmotion. What if you could visualize your building in a couple of clicks, remove months from the design process, or create a bridge between stakeholders to solve problems before they even come up? Our friends at Twinmotion offer simple, real-time visualization for architects. Their technology lets you view and edit your scene on the go in the same pixel-perfect quality as the final rendering. Twinmotion seamlessly integrates with other tools like SketchUp and Revit, transforming your BIM or CAD models into high-quality images, panoramas, VR videos, or presentations. Sound complicated? Well, what if I told you that Twinmotion enables anyone to present the biggest ideas in the easiest way possible, regardless of previous CG experience? To download your exclusive free trial, head to twinmotion.link/Archispeak. That's twinmotion.link, not .com, /Archispeak. This episode is made possible with support from Monograph. Monograph is building a community of like-minded firm owners and operations leaders who are looking for solutions that align with their firm's values. On top of that, Monograph is building the only cloud-based practice operations software built exclusively for architects by architects. Monograph's easy-to-use and beautifully designed software allows you and your team to know in near real time whether you are on pace to deliver a project on budget. With Monograph, you and your team can plan project schedules, budgets, role assignments, and team members all in one place. The best part of Monograph? It doesn't require a degree in finance to use. To experience the difference today, sign up for a free trial at monograph.com. And to underscore their commitment to the community, on August 12th, Monograph will be hosting their first ever virtual conference. It's called Section Cut. This one-day event brings firm owners, operations leaders, and project leaders together to learn from success stories and workshops, all with a goal of improving their business. Reserve a seat at Section Cut today by visiting sectioncut.com. Okay, now you have to recover from that.
I don't know how to now.
Get back to the.
Well, but the funny thing is, like, speaking of like fans, I mean, big, Zaha. I mean, they've got these, like very kind of almost disciple-esque type following.
Totally, yeah.
And it's interesting. I mean, because they make, and I would say as a criticism of their work, only. Out of more jealousy than anything else.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Their work is great, and they're very prolific, and they're doing a lot of work all over the place. So they are getting their names out there.
Yeah.
And you look at like the beauty of especially like Zaha. I mean, the beauty of her work is, it's undeniable, but then you look at it as a project manager, and we've been walking around many of these
or
buildings
a building
before.
Owner. Yeah.
Or a building owner, or a user, or a passerby, or whatever, and you start to pick apart like the problems that are really going to be. I mean, I remember when
let's actually just hone in on that for a second, because it's like she gets all the glory. Whoever we're talking about gets all the glory and all the blame. And the team was probably hundreds of people, literally.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you think about it, though, what's interesting about that, in even in Frank's time, Frankie, he had the same thing, really. Like he had a team of draftsmen and
Thought you were talking about Frank
junior
Gehry for a
architects.
second, and I'm like, did he die?
No, but
Other Frank.
no. But
Okay.
but that Frank too.
Sure.
But they've just got this this core of team and stuff. And funny enough, like I have a good friend, and you have a good friend that actually worked for Gary.
Yeah.
And dare you say something wrong, which I actually did, and I had a scathing text from my friend who, just kind of was not very appreciative of my comments, and my comments are coming from things like, look, I mean, as beautiful as the building is, I mean, one, there's a period of time where you sort of felt like he was almost a one-trick pony, but more so, the more you look at him, the more you look at the deficiencies of functionality, of maintenance.
That's not what it's about.
Exactly.
And that could be something that you care about. Yeah, you could care about that, and maybe the owner is just like, same reason they drive a Range Rover, right? It's like, or a Land Rover, I should say. It's like, no, I'm just going to pay the bills to get them fixed because they do break down all the time, but they're damn nice, right?
Yeah. When they work, man, do they work? But when they break,
I think it's like when they work, they barely work, but
yeah.
But they're so nice, and they're a premium, and that's what they are, right? And I think that it's impossible to actually to judge these accurately.
I think when let's be honest, that we would love to have a crack at the projects that they work on, and a lot of times it very much is that the owners are buying the name brand.
Sure.
They want that.
Yeah.
I mean,
they want something aspirational. Yeah.
Yeah. We're working on a project right now that has got multiple different projects surrounding it. And if you want to talk about like name recognition, we're the lowest probably on the totem pole.
Yeah.
In comparison
you
to
are a
like
drafting
all
service.
Of these, in comparison to all these other like big name firms that are like right next door and, steps down the road and those kind of things. And, you're just like, okay. I mean, in this particular case, it's going to be an interesting how, some of these people pull off like their own twist because they're known for their twists. They're known for like that something very stylistic that, you look at a building and you're like, oh, that is this person.
Yeah.
And,
like Billy Chen and Todd Williams. Yeah. Yeah.
Or Zaha or
there's
or
a signature.
Frank
Sure.
Yeah. So, but it's going to be very interesting since this is a very style, this is a mandated style, and we're there as, our higher ed kind of expertise and stuff for the part that we're working on. And I can't say anything more than that. And I probably said way too much, but
you're
whatever.
Good.
You're good. However, it's going to be very interesting to see all of these people are saddled by a style that is not natural to them, nor to us.
Right.
So it'll be very, very interesting to see how all of that stuff works out. But, people are buying these for fashion, very much like, you go back to the football analogies or the sports team analogies. And it's just like, people kind of like glom onto and like deck themselves out and like, the Detroit Lions.
You can't explain it.
Exactly.
It's a religion. It's like, it's just this. Yep. This is my team, and I live and die by my team. That's why I was wondering if there's anything like that with architecture, because I thought it was really interesting that the story you told was from somebody who worked for an architect, where the Facebook group, obviously that's the other side of just fanatics, right? Those are fans.
Yeah.
They may or may not have any architectural training, and that is more like the sports team maybe because, they're enthusiasts, but they're not like in it every day, and they don't understand what people who worked for him went through, and they don't understand the tantrums and the fits and the payments and the bankruptcies and the mistresses and the families and like maybe they do see some of that, but they also weren't close to it. Whereas like when you're working in an office, you see how the sausage is made, right? And it's very different, and there are still people who are very loyal to certain brands of architects. It's a very interesting kind of human concept about this kind of loyalty. Like you're loyal to teams in states in which you do not live, right? And I think that's in anymore, but that's interesting, right? Like, or if a team moves to a new state, it pisses you off, right? Or something. There's things like that. So it's just a totally foreign concept to me. Maybe there are examples of this, but I can't think of what they are to me. But I've never associated myself or been able to kind of see myself in those kinds of shoes. I just think it's really interesting, this whole kind of architectural or name recognition, loyalty, brand loyalty kind of scenario.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about it is that, I don't consider myself as the fanatic. It's like everybody else. It's just like, hey, like say for instance, if last night the Tampa Bay Lightning, so like the Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup last night. And,
I thought it was the England team.
Shut your Although funny enough, I was talking to one of our engineers who happened to be British, and I was just like, "How about that England, team?" And oh my God, it just opened up a floodgate because, just like
he needed an outlet. What?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like just absolutely. I mean, it's been 55 years since they've been to the finals of the Euro Cup or whatever it's called. It's soccer. Come on.
Whatever. The Eurovision competition? I think that's it. Let's go with that.
That would be better.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but as weird as I thought the movie was, it was still so awesome. It was
so good. It was so good. Yeah. If anybody's looking for a movie recommendation that you want to just have a nice time watching and not get stressed out and just laugh, Eurovision with Will Ferrell and Amy Adams. Is that who it was?
No.
Rachel McAdams.
Rachel McAdams.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just so funny and so good.
So good.
Yeah.
So funny. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the other kind of type of kind of religiosity and loyalty around the stuff. And funny enough, now it's escaping me. There was another version of this that I was just thinking of. It'll come back to me. Sorry, derailed.
Well, then there's also the repulsion side.
There is, yeah.
It's just like
they can never do well. They can never do good by me. Yeah,
exactly. It's just
totally.
Like you get that one architect or that one experience that you had with, say, an architect or a building or something, and for some reason they'll never live it down.
Well, I have seen like people try to do like cancellations or like full on like takedowns on Twitter of like Frank Lloyd Wright around his birthday every year.
Yeah.
Richard Meyer, obviously, with the Me Too movement. There's a lot of that, and I mean some of the basically almost every complaint is not about the architecture at all. It's about the person.
Right.
So
right. Yeah. And and then with that then obviously the creations are going to suffer by guilt by association by the creator and merited.
Yeah, it is interesting to kind of think about it, where some buildings are praised and some are heavily criticized, and I don't want to say vilified, like the building didn't do anything. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but it's like there are some definite turds in the pile, right? Well, and but then you look at the whole thing, and it's like, well, can you really do it right? What quote unquote, right every single time with all of the constraints and all of the things that go into synthesizing a building from user groups and constraints and sites and agencies and user groups and politics and deadlines and low fees. And oh my God, there's so much to navigate there. It's a wonder that anything ever gets built, let alone some of these showpieces that everybody points at and says, that's capital A architecture right there. It's actually just phenomenal that those ever happen. But they do, and they happen in all the arts, I think. And I'm not trying to define architecture as an art, but you know what I mean? Like, going back to the music analogy, yeah, there are some that are timeless, right?
Yeah.
There's songs that are timeless, there's architecture that's timeless, there are paintings that are timeless, and And how do you ever know if that's what it's going to be? Like, when they were writing the song, did they know it would be a hit? When they were designing the building, did they know it would be iconic for that long? It's kind of a gamble, or it's just an outcome that was never really.
Well, I mean, let's think about just one building in particular that took such a gamble and was so out of the box that you just, if you think about it, if you could put yourself in the position of the client being pitched this particular building, and I'll let you know what it is in a second.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait.
And you're thinking to yourself, what the hell are you talking about? No, I don't want that building. I mean, no.
It's the giant like wicker basket one, right? In the Midwest?
No. It's in Paris. The Pompidou Center.
Yeah.
Could you just imagine like the look on their face when they're like,
what?
We're gonna turn it inside out.
Yeah.
And,
so you're gonna do the insides on the outside? What?
Exactly. Yeah. But you think about it now.
Oh, there's a lot of examples like that. That's a great example. Yeah.
But I mean, that
total
one
gamble
right there is just like was such a like so avant-garde. I mean, there's avant-garde, and then there's that, which was just like, really, you're literally gonna, like, all the time that we spend, the money that we spend to hide all of that stuff, and you want to celebrate. You want to put it outside. I'm sorry, come again.
Right.
Say that one more time. And it just ended up working. I mean, I remember when I saw it for the very first time, it was probably, okay, so I was 18, in the Army. It was literally like the first, so we flew to Germany. I checked in with my unit. They said, hey, it's Friday. Everybody's off for the weekend, and you're kind of like free to do whatever the hell you want to. And I had happened to know some people who had graduated in the class right before me that was in my unit, and they're like, hey man, grab your wallet, grab your ID. We're gonna go for a drive. With all of the flying and everything, I was just like completely tired. And next thing I know, they're nudging me. It's just like, give me your ID. And so I like hand up the ID to them. And then the next time it was like, they start nudging me again. And then I wake up and they're like, hey, we're here. We were in the heart of Paris.
Wow.
And I was just like,
how cool.
Oh, this is awesome.
Nobody told me.
And I remember driving past it, and it really was what the bleep is that? But
unexpected.
knowing that, where my path was going, because I mean, I went into the Army, let's be honest, to, for the college money and to go into architecture school, that I looked at it and I'm just like, all right, that's choice. I mean, it was
bold move.
I mean, I don't know what I'm looking at. I mean, I'm not sophisticated yet or ever, but it's a choice. It's interesting. I've never seen anything like, I mean, especially coming from, the States, never seen anything like that before in my life, unless it was like a sewage treatment plant or something like that.
Now you're going back to my childhood, because that's what my dad does.
Yeah. So like, I mean, you're just like, it was wow. And so people have, I don't even know where the hell we were going with it, but like, it was those things. And then now think about it, like fast forward. I mean, now both of the two architects who were involved with that have made a career out of making kind of these like bold statement choice architecture.
Right.
And so they literally have been kind of like that's what they're, like their career started there.
Right.
But it became so
How did they sell that?
Yeah.
That idea.
I mean, because you think about it, like, you got Richard Rogers, and
that's the one I knew.
So there's this little known Italian architect who, does these.
Yeah. The one guy.
Which one guy?
The,
come on. I want to watch you struggle.
Blowing my brain.
I'll give you another hint. New York Times building.
Yeah, I know exactly who it is. The Whitney, like, yeah, I know who it is. I just can't pull it out of my brain. I'm suffering from the agedness.
Agedness.
The oldness? Is that a better way to say it?
That's funny.
I know you're older than me.
I know, right?
You're smarter too.
I don't know if I don't know. I doubt. Renzo, dude.
Thank
Renzo.
you. I'm like, I could actually see, like, it's an instrument.
Yeah. Is it a piano?
Yeah.
But I mean, now think about it. Think about like where their career has gone.
Oh yeah.
And think about like the styles that they've like developed for themselves. And it was rooted in the birth of like that building. I mean,
totally.
You know,
you can totally see the DNA.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
And so, and then you do have like followers of Renzo, and you do have followers of Richard Rogers. I mean, these are people who are still hired today to give them that kind of avant-garde style that, their career started with I mean, I'm sure it started before the Pompidou Center, but,
sure.
was really kind of launched off of the Pompidou Center.
Mm. Yeah. The launch. There you go. That's the launch pad.
Yeah.
They do have a launch pad. Yeah. There's each one of these that we've kind of talked about have a launch pad project for sure.
I mean, the funny thing is that
put you on the map.
And I like anytime I go to New York and I go to the New York Times building, I look at this and I just look at like the mastery of like these layering of like this exposed structure and just, the perfect alignments of things where he's got cross bracing that aligns with the stair runs and all of these other things. And there's just like this beautiful layering effect of
it's like
structure
going to the Getty
and use.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
all the grid lines align, all of them, everywhere, every surface.
But, I mean, even though I have, like feel like, he's an amazing architect and he
did it all himself, right? He detailed all that.
Well, yes, we know that he didn't, because I actually know a few people who worked on that building as project architects and stuff. So, but the thing about it is that like, people revere him. People, there are people who, I mean, one of my bosses is like, you can't say anything wrong about Renzo. I mean, to be quite honest with you, I don't have anything wrong to say about Renzo, but what I'm saying is that if you were around him, you better not say anything, wrong about Renzo, because he will be quick to, correct you on, why Renzo is the most amazing thing since sliced bread,
really?
Which is pretty amazing.
This is your friend or Renzo himself?
No, no, one of my bosses.
Okay. So he's all gold in their eyes.
In his eyes, they're all gold.
Can do no wrong.
And we're actually doing a second project with Renzo's office, which is kind of awesome, but I'm not involved with it. But
the royal we, your firm.
There are stories to be told about like the interaction. So
that's for a private episode of Archispeak.
Yeah.
Stories from the war rooms.
Can you just imagine how many stories we could get out of people if they were willing to talk about things like that?
That would be fun.
I kind of doubt that they would be. You don't want to burn those bridges or stuff, but I'm sure there are so many stories out there.
Let us know if
working with.
Yeah, audience needs to let us know if this should happen, or if they can help make it happen.
Exactly.
It would be fun. I mean, and it would also probably be
risky.
Well, I didn't want to say risky, but I mean like sad. Like
no, yeah, that's true too.
There would be a lot of glass shattered potentially, right?
So I was watching World's God, what is that show on Netflix? And it's all about houses, and there's an architect and an actress.
Yeah. World's. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
World's Most Amazing Homes or Places or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, he reveres Brian McKay Lyons, and they were driving up to the two Hull House. Mm-hmm. One of my favorites by Brian McKay Lyons, is one of my favorite architects. Mm-hmm. And I'm one of these people who like truly do not care about celebrity. It's like the most unimportant thing to me. I don't care how big of a person, small of a person, whatever it is, that you're all just people. So there is no like, I have no stars in my eyes for anything. I admire the work that the guy does,
Mm-hmm.
and so this guy like really admires the work that Brian does, and he was worried that if he like went and visited this house, that what is it, you don't want to meet your heroes, or
Mm-hmm.
never meet your heroes because
Yeah.
they don't live up to the expectations that
Just
you
be
have.
disappointed. Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing that as an architect, it doesn't matter what building you're at or whatever, you're going to find something wrong with it. And there's, you picked apart a couple of little things, but overall, it was just like, it still kind of reaffirmed his like love of, the work Brian does. And so, there was nothing like earth shattering of like, oh my God, I've put my faith in this, this architect, and they failed me because it's just a facade, kind of thing.
Mm.
It's nothing like that, but it's just like you kind of this like I don't get it. Just like you don't get like sports like
Mm-hmm.
hero worship and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get like. I mean, we all do the same. We all do the same thing.
Got our own way.
We have like totally gone off on a tangent here from where we had started, but it's all just kind of you all suck.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's not going to make it in. Or it might. Who knows?
Or it might. Well, where you headed? You headed off to the Michigan,
Yes, the Mitten State.
the Mitten State, the oven mitt.
Yes,
Cool, man.
it's not an oven mitt. It's cold there. It's a winter mitten.
Oh, okay. Shows you what I know.
Nothing.
I told you you're smarter than me.
Just we've got like 3 different graduation parties to attend this weekend, and then I get to drive down and go to the great state of Georgia to take care of a speeding ticket for my child.
Why do you have to do that? Because you're afraid he won't do it right?
No, I mean, I'm just going to be there with him. I mean, he's got to do it.
Got to go there, huh?
Like,
but lame.
Yeah, it is, but I mean, I don't really want him to chance, having any like points or anything, or the suspension of his license in the state of Georgia, which is what they said is if he doesn't show up, he will have an automatic suspension of his driving privileges in the state of Georgia. And so he's like, well, that's fine. I'll just drive around it. Like, so if you ever go home to visit family in Florida, your option is drive illegally through, drive illegally through Georgia, or drive through Alabama.
Right.
Yeah. Have fun with that.
Good luck.
Pick the lesser of two evils. Just do the right thing and go down there. And so that's what we're going to do. And the cool thing is that there is the route that I took to go from Michigan, the Detroit area, down to basically it's right at the border of Florida and Georgia.
Oh God, you gotta go all the way to the bottom?
All the way to the bottom, which summarizes, nope, gonna avoid that one. It's too easy.
Good call.
Yeah. However,
almost had to recover again.
Almost, yeah. However, there is one stop. I kind of noticed how it was going to take us through West Virginia, through Ohio and into West Virginia, and we will be like within just a few miles of a place that my daughter has been begging me to go to, which is Point Pleasant. And if you know anything about folklore of Point Pleasant, that was where the Mothman occurrences happen. And like everybody's got like their little like monster folklore, like the Jersey Devil, and well, the Mothman is Western West Virginia's take on that, and she's big into folklore, big into monster folklore. She's even bought herself a monster hunting jacket.
Awesome.
Yeah, and of course it's emblazoned with a bunch of pins of different monsters and everything.
Sweet.
So
Wonder whose offspring she is.
I have no idea where that comes from.
Long car rides with lots of stories.
Yeah. She listens to lore a lot and a lot of horror flicks, and now she's getting into watching horror movies and everything else. So,
Awesome. Well, that'll be
so
fun, I guess. That's a long drive. Jeez.
it is.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. It's just gonna be a lot of driving, is what it's gonna be.